My friend, this is a bass lesson 101. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to use the circle O fifths to practice the practice of practicing. You're probably wondering, what does that mean? And honestly, if you've already clicked away from this video by now, good riddance. If you're going to ride this one out, good for you. These techniques will take you from playing beginner bass to being able to play generally anything on the bass. Whether you have a 4-string or a 5-string, what we're looking to do is start the concept of knowing notes on your fretboard. Now, the beauty of the circle of fifths, you don't really have to know the name of the notes to be able to utilize the function of the circle of fifths. The circle of fifths itself, when we draw it out, has a pretty cool function as far as finding family chords, key signatures, relative minors, being able to access different modes or scale preferences, whether it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, or do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. We have different types of notes that go into our diatonic 7, and then all the things we do as bass players generally revolve around these concepts. And we're going to talk about the first bullet points. I'm going to put out other videos, but I want to keep these kind of short so you can keep re-watching this and go over the tips. When we're doing our circle fifths, draw our circle: C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, and C sharp. Now, all we're going to do is talk about the circle of sharps. These are 5 notes from each other. They're considered perfect fifths. When we go this way, they're considered perfect fourths. Now, again, we're not talking about the flats today. We're only talking about the sharps. But I do want to give you one of the hints as a bass player, which might help. If we wanted to see that 1 or 2 of our notes can be played as the same thing, we always go 4 notes away down to the A. G would go to E, D goes to B, so on and so forth. When you get the whole circle written out, which I hope you do, it allows you to be able to see which notes are correlating as far as having the same key signature, but gives them minor tonality. So with the circle of fifths, what we try to do is work on concepts and then move from there. So essentially what I want to do is show how you could go through each one of these scale positions and utilize that on the fretboard. Now, playing a 4-string or 5-string doesn't matter, because I'm going to give you this concept through the eyes of the 4-string, not the 5. 5, we're out. We've got another 4 strings right here. Bar, 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 bar. I think that feels like 12. Again, I'm not an artist, I'm a musician. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm missing 11 and 12, so let me just give these. At this point, we start again right here, right? So if we have an open G string, we've got our D string, our A string, and our E string. And remember, I'm not even gonna throw out this 5th string right here or a 6th string. You can figure it out on your own how this is going to work. The shapes and preferences that we have generally have a 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, and then double bubble bar at the 12th, boom, and then maybe a 9 or a 10. Mine's, I think, at the 9. So those are the little markings we look for on the fretboard. What I'd like to show you today is just how to see for the bass what the circle of fifths can do just as the root position. So if we were to play all the root position notes of C, then G, then D, then A, then E, then B, then F, and then C, F sharp and C sharp. What we have is knowing what our triads are. Now, again, you don't need to know what these are, but they are the 1, 3, 5 of every key. So when we play C major, there are no sharps and flats. It's C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. When we go to G, it's G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then these last ones are diminished, absolutely. D carries that F sharp and then adds C sharp as it's diminished. So when we go through the process of seeing this, we could go C, relative minor A, G, relative minor E, D, relative minor B. Those share the key signature. So when you see something like a staff marking and there's a sharp on the top line of the treble clef, you could say, oh, that's in the key of G or E. They both possess an F sharp. That's the whole point of writing these out. Once you get really good at writing A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, you'll know what your A major is: E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp. Now, granted, no sharps, 1 sharp, 2 sharp, 3 sharp, 4 sharp. We're just going in order of our sharps and flats. When we write out all of our notes, we could do that too, and then go back and fill them in. What was the sharp in the key of G? Why, it was F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're in D. What's the sharp in D? It's C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's the sharp in A? It's G sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, E. What is the sharp that was added on in E? It was the last one, the D sharp, the T-do. And then when we go to our last sharp, B has 5 sharps. Hence, when we go down to F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F. We have all the sharps in this key except for the 4th. And if you do dig on this theory stuff, that's because F major has a B flat. And we'll talk about that later when we examine the flats. And then lastly, C sharp has them all. Now rather than write them all, because I'm lazy, I'm just gonna do that. It has every single one of them. Why? C has none. So C sharp has all. C has none, C flat has all of them. Going through here, I'm just gonna write out my triads. G, B, D, D, F sharp, A, C sharp, E, G sharp, B. When we see here, we can even like do this number, B, D sharp, F sharp. And then you'll get used to seeing these, because if we were to play just a B, D, and an F, that would be a B diminish. And it's only located in the key of C. Why? C has no sharps, no flats. If I've already lost you on this, maybe check out one of my other videos on the circle fifths. The end of this video is just geared towards basses. And then again, we're gonna have an F sharp, A sharp, and a C sharp, because FAC in the key of A major, not A major, well, no, in the key of F major would have been F major, FAC. Well, sharpening all 3 of those by augmenting each note a half step, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp. Well, that's what that is. And then lastly, C, E, G, because we augmented the same thing, we're gonna do the same darn tootin' ting right there. So, how does this work for practical application? If we were to go A, B, C right here and see C, E, and then G, or G open, we've got 2 ways to play ha ha ha, 1, 3, 5, ha 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 ha. So that's what we practice. Same thing when we do G. If you see it through another key, I know that my colors here suck. Let me try red. E, F, F sharp, G. So G. This would go to our 3rd, and then D right here. Or again, you're looking for pattern recognition. So let me grab my bass. I'm on a 5-string. If you're playing on 5-string, disregard. We're not talking about right hand or your plucking hand, but what I would suggest is when going through this, do a pull through so you fall through back on the string below. It's a great way to start this off. I like using only my 1st finger when I'm starting to express beginner bass. This thing-a-ding mutes the notes so it's not so crazy when I'm explaining rhythms, and it allows me to do some pretty cool pop functions. So for this, our C, here's our B, E, A, D, G. If you're in tune with me, we've got this 3rd note, open, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, gives me a C. The aforementioned C, E, G would look and sound like this. Function, if you play with different fingers, you get really used to playing different structures with these fingers. So what we do is we practice that in every fingering we can. It feels much better to do something like this. See how I played the one with the open note phrasing with a 3rd finger, 2nd finger, and then open? I didn't even use 1st fret on my own 1st finger, just played it open. And then when I wanted to go up for that high G, rather than playing it open, C, E, G, I play that with my middle finger. Hence, when utilizing the circle fifths, C, here, let me just write them up there. C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, and C sharp. It gives us the ability to hear what these sound like up the neck. Let's pick the 2nd foundation. This is countless hours of work. If you just do this over and over again, the next step is C, E, G, G, B, D, D, F sharp, A, C sharp, E. When you can do this with each one of these notes, that's when you add a little flair. Let's say we wanted to do something like a blues, bebop, Dorian. I'm going to explain the last thing in this video and then call it quits for this one. This idea of using the circle fifths allows you to try out maybe your pentatonics. A pentatonic in a major key, which all all these are. Only focus on the 1, the 2, the 3, the 5, and the 6. So when we play this on each one of these, we can go through here. Oops, I erased the wrong one. Anyway, it goes through each one of these, so we can have C, D, E, G, and A, G, A, B, D, and E. Get rid of the G, get rid of the C. Each one of these are our pentatonics. Now to spare time and you, I'm not gonna go through each one of those. So here's what they would look like if you were gonna be doing like a little half group. You dig it? This gives you functionality of sliding a half step up to the note you want. And if you practice that, you could use it like. See how rhythms and melodies start to derive over the top of that standard tempo or beat? Very cool. This is the beginning process on how I use the circle of fifths. Lastly, I'm going to leave you with the circle of fifths on a pentatonic. In the key of C, we have C, D, C, D, E, skip that F, play the G and the A, so the 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. And that's what your major pentatonic is. Good at knowing C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, skip that F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, up to C sharp. Pentatonic systems. I hope you learned a little bit, took a tip away from there. If you have any questions, put it in the comment section, and we'll get to you soon. Thank you very much. Aloha!